Hey everybody, Panuganti here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to put your video game music, your covers, remixes, as well as any music that you want to sell onto your favorite stores like Apple Music, Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, Google Play, and more. And we're going to be using Soundrop. Now, this isn't sponsored or anything. This is just a service that I'm happiest with and find very affordable. Now, all you have to do is go to soundrop.com and you'll be greeted with the sign up free. And obviously, I've already signed up, but if you have not, go ahead and click here. Now, if you already had music on the website Louder, Loudr, and you believe that you should have an account because they moved a lot of accounts from there to Soundrop, check your email or just email the support at soundrop.com. So what you'll do is you'll click sign up free and log in to the artist dashboard, which I've done here. And you'll be greeted with this kind of menu where you can see your monthly revenue. I've obviously blocked out. And this is where we're going to be looking. So I'm going to pretend like I'm uploading the same song that I just uploaded for our purposes. So you're going to want to look at your assets, which can be accessed here. And you're going to want to go to tracks because we're going to release this track just like it was a song that you wanted to upload, for this week. So what you would do is you click here and you upload an audio file. You need to do a wave. It should be 44.1 kilohertz, 16-bit as a recommendation. And obviously you want it to be as high quality as possible, your final one. So I would do that, and I'm going to hit instrumental. And then we're going to type the name of our track. Now, due to whatever guidelines that exist for music in different stores, to name a game track, I'm going to do it in this format. The track title, I'm just going to keep it the same as the original, from, and in quotes, the name of the game, Celeste. This is just some standard that I've discovered to be very common now, but I highly recommend sticking with the format. Artist name. Now, this is where you can put in collaborators. You can put in your own name. Maybe you have multiple names. So I'm just going to use my own, and it should be able to look me up really quickly. Now, say I collabed with somebody, I could put featuring someone else or with someone else, and I can even go as detailed as who sang which kind of part or conducted. Just a lot of different roles that we can do here, but we don't need to. Now, this question, do you already have an ISRC code? This is something that's going to be created for you anyway, unless you've released it on a different platform. Obviously, there are no lyrics, and we're going to call it a cover song so that it knows that we need to purchase a mechanical license, which is basically like a thing that lets me sell my song legally, and it obligates me to give some of my profit to the original composer. So that's why we're using Soundrop. I highly recommend you use Soundrop instead of trying to use some sort of gray area and just post it on Bandcamp, because that's also not going to give the original composer money, and that's not cool. That's not even for the law. Note that it is $9.99 US for every license. So if your song contains references or you're mashing up songs, you need to pay $10 per song. That is a one-time fee. It's not something you have to pay every single year. It's just one time, and this lets Soundrop be able to support itself and the fact that you will be giving the composer money. So $10, it's, like 3 cups of coffee. So we would then hit save, but obviously I've already done so, and you will see the name of your song written here, and you'll also see the ISRC once it gets generated, and it'll even tell you the length of the song and who made it. So now what you need to do to release this track is to place it on an album. Now, when you hear the word album, you might think, oh, but an album is 5 songs long. This is just a asset. It's a thing that contains tracks. So the first thing you want to do is check your art. You need to get something that is in a JPEG or JPG format. You need, I usually go for 3000 by 3000 pixels for a nice square image. And obviously there's a lot of other rules. Don't put anything sexually explicit. Your cover art can't be, it can't have someone else's name or lie. And you can't use any pictures that you don't own. So I highly recommend that, for me, I've been using royalty-free images or photos I take. I think it's a good way to go. So I put an image in here of the album art that I'd like. I own the rights to everything that's depicted. It has my name. It has the name of the song, very clear. It's good enough for me. So next we're going to go, this is in English, I suppose. The release type, it's not an LP, it's a single because it's 1 or 2 tracks. If you were doing an album, of course, we would do it differently. And I'm going to name it the exact same thing as the track so that it's not misleading or confusing. We have chosen to use just one artist, and the name of the artist behind this album is Panuganti. The reason why this works is because when I'm working on a group, for example, GameLark, I want the album to be labeled differently than the individual songs. Next, we're going to do genre. Now, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of choices within the game covering world. Some people like soundtrack. Video game is not one. I generally use prog rock, art rock. I think that's an accurate depiction. Now, this next part is really confusing, but it's not. You just need to label the copyright for the ownership of your cover or remix or song or whatever you're doing. So you put the year and your name, and you should be good to go. Now, if it was a company, I would obviously do something different. And I've been matching these. Now, this has never been released before. It's not on a record label of any sort. And I do not have a UPC or unique code for the release itself. Now, because I already acquired a license for the song that I use, I'm going to pick a different song just as a temporary so that you can see what you would actually do. The song cover license, mechanical license request. I just said license a bunch. And this is where we will tell them everything about the song. Who wrote it, why, what company did they write it for, give them an example. And the more information you provide, the faster that Soundrop will be able to acquire the license and get your song distributed. So we're just going to pretend that we're doing first steps again. And to be sure, we can use a website called VGMDB. And this website is fantastic for telling you every single thing about songs. Now, my friend Subversive Asset is going to be creating a great video about how to know what songs are licensable and what aren't, because this is a question I get all the time. And the simplest answer is any song that has a US release, a legal US release where you could purchase the song, is available for licensing. Now, this can include a lot of games, and it can also exclude a lot of games. However, Celeste has. So all we have to do is click here and check that there is a release price of, and this one says $9 US, and that you can find exactly where to buy it. It's purchasable on Bandcamp. And here we can get the composer, Lena Raine, and we can get the exact name and even the track number that the song appears, which should make, in theory, the license process go much faster. So we have the name of the album and everything we need. So all we have to do is go back here and type in everything. The recording artist is the person who performed, or in this case, performed or programmed. But most of the time I find it's both. And I'm going to give just a bit of an example. Video game track 02 on Celeste original soundtrack. And we can even put a URL to the song if we need to. I'm not going to do so because this is just a silly guide. The final steps are pretty much going to be hit approve and hit submit or distribute. And what will happen is Soundrop will work as fast as possible to acquire licenses, which will again depend on the time of the composer and small factors there. And then they'll send it to every store that you want them to, at the given price points that you want to. I always set by hand every single price to be $1, but you will want to check that, and you can even change it if you feel like your album should cost more or less. And from there, usually I will get an email back in a couple days, and my song will be ready to go. I'll just link people to it on my YouTube videos, and boom, we have music on Spotify legal. We have music on iTunes, Apple Music, Google, all legally done, and it benefits the composer and obviously yourself. Now, different stores will give you payouts on different times. That's a store rule, but usually iTunes and Spotify pay out about 2 months after, and I believe some of the other stores do 1 month after. So you should be able to see results in the start menu as well as a more detailed graph there. I hope this guide has helped you. If you have any more questions, please tweet at Soundrop. They are fantastic with support, or leave a comment below. And of course, subscribe for more fun videos.